They're gone. They're covered in mud. So
Hey, Jason, so I got a bunch of.
to be down. Yeah. The ones that shoot in the snowbanks all the time. Oh, thanks for grabbing that cord. But
Yeah, I thought that was, I couldn't remember that binary.
did you grab the other one that was on the other side too? That was connected to the light?
Yeah, is that what got you?
That's mine too.
Okay,
Whatever.
The shorter one?
It's like a green one.
All right, 7 o'clock, everybody.
Yeah.
Reminder for everybody to please sign in before you leave. You don't have to jump up and do it now, but please jot your name down so we know who's here. Doesn't look like we have anybody online, so this is it. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Try to get as many people here as we can, and we seem to be dwindling in numbers over since COVID especially, but please spread the word and try to get people here to at least go through the recap with us. First thing I need to do is approve the meeting agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Got Brad? Second?
Yep, me.
Lindsay, all in favor?
Okay.
Okay. Good to go. This agenda, we run them backwards from the monthly meetings, so Suzanne gets to go first rather than last.
Okay.
What do you got, Suzanne?
Not too much. We had a really good year. Contributions for the year were 1,100,000. We still have our 4 sites, Old Paper, Broadway, Wild Bill, and 5. We have full tabs at all. We have bingo at all sites. And we are running meat raffles at Old Paper and at Broadway at this time. We do have an issue in the House. I think it's the House hearing tomorrow. They are trying to change our tabs, so if you can talk to your representatives, that would be great. They're trying to take away all of our fast moving tabs, so probably about 90% of our games we have in play right now, they are illegal. So we're trying to stop that because obviously we're making money off the way it's going, so don't want that to go through.
What's a fast moving?
Well, if you guys play them, there's some where you have to hit it to open every label. The ones that you can hit and they all open, they're trying to get rid of. So that's about
I
it.
did that, would that be across, I mean, that's across the board, right?
Off the whole state, yeah.
So something else would take its place.
Just the more, well, they're gonna have, but those slow moving ones that you have to tab.
Yeah.
And probably less bonus reels on those, but. Yeah. that's
Every other organization is at 90% of their ETAB business too.
Everybody's across the whole state. They like a ban altogether, the people that are running the bills, so.
We're gonna lose 2 points.
The casinos think that they're
they-
losing business to it. It's too easy for people to gamble that method, so they want to draw them back into the casinos.
Okay,
So they're preaching that the loans are paid off for the stadium downtown, and this doesn't follow the rules we agreed to, so now we're going after it. That's what I understand.
Exactly.
So,
Let's go. That's it for my recap.
very good. Well, thank you, Suzanne. Just to add to that comment, out of that $1.3 million in contribute, or I'm sorry, 1.1, that resulted in a subsidy for all 616 Blaine players of $794 per player. So that's a lot of dough. Like going directly back to the expenses to hockey. So that's how we keep our costs down. So thank you very much to you and your crew.
yeah, sure.
Any questions for Suzanne?
Last, are they going, they keeping the machine at Broadway? Or are they going back to like a Lutheran?
Right now, they're keeping, yeah.
Okay.
They're happy with it. I directed everyone else. But that wasn't our decision. We'd rather have it open.
Yeah, and a little background on that, when it's bar ops ran, they get unlimited rent, so they get more income based on the performance of the game. So that's their incentive. All right, next item. Approving last year's meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Lindsay and Jason, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Who's up first? First up, on the agenda here is Chris Paul, update from our equipment director.
Last year we kind of set on a mission to get all of our jerseys into one brand and got that accomplished last year. Going forward this year, gonna work on updating some of our goalie equipment and getting that room more organized back there. We got a good chunk of it done last year, but finishing up this year. Me and Jed have some work to do in there.
Jed.
Noted. That's it for me.
That's all you got? That's your recap?
I mean, I could go through the boring numbers of how many jerseys we have.
No, that's okay. That's all right. All right, any questions for Chris? Keep this moving along. Thank you.
There any kind of equipment sales that we do?
Not
Bring
typically.
in old stuff,
What's that? Oh, like taking old stuff
like
in?
taking donations in?
Not typically. The only equipment we really hand out to people is goalie equipment as far as that kind of stuff goes. We got helmets, I guess we can always use for like the learn to skate if you have smaller helmets. But, or old small sticks for the kids that are doing the try hockey stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, we typically don't hand like regular hockey equipment out to kids.
And we do have a buy, sell, trade spot on our website that doesn't really get used anyways, but it's an option.
Yeah, there's a way to post stuff up there, but we created it, announced it, and nobody used it.
There's, and I think there's a Facebook group too. I guess.
There is, yep.
I forget the name.
Site that one of our members started.
Out there.
But when you sign your kid up for Cubs, they get like basically everything,
Yeah.
Everything, yeah, there's
everything but skates.
everything but skates.
And stick.
And stick.
And that's any first year. It's not just Cubs. If
Yeah,
they're
any
a first year port, they still get that voucher.
Any other questions around equipment? Okay, next up is, Rick Jaffor, the hockey director.
Yeah, so the big push this year was try to get all the training into one day. Years past have always been random days, so we moved to Mondays this year where all the training was done. I think there's some learning lessons with Kathy and I took notes down on, but overall I think it was a success where we know Mondays are going to be our training day, and that way we don't interfere with other things going on with teams, especially during the week. So good. I thought it was a positive move for there. With that, we had over 300 plus training hours with 7 trainers. As Jeff was alluding to as well, our contribution for our gamblers, right? So that's, we budgeted $125K in training. I haven't checked with Ron, but I'm pretty sure we're pretty close to that. We're closing out some of the last invoices there. So a lot of good things happening and giving back to the members here. We worked on the tryout schedule for already this coming up season, so that's already completed. So that's, I don't know if we posted that there, but we'll get that all posted. So that's, again, we tried to work around everything from lacrosse to football and homecoming and everything else, but hopefully that we don't have to make minimal movements there. Pre-trial camp schedule is all set as well. That's the same schedules last year. We're still looking at the curriculum for that, but that's already scheduled. We have the ice. And then have to say with working with Nancy, all the coaching certs and everything for the year went pretty well this year. So that's about it.
Got it. Any questions for Rick around hockey development? Okay, good. Moving on. Next up is Jed Rolton, the in-house director.
Yes, thank you everyone for coming. So just recap our in-house season. Last year, we had 20 teams in-house between the boys and the girls, so including in-house mites, U8s, and then 2 Cubs groups. As we look at numbers for in-house year over year, we were down 7 kids at the mite level. So 2 years ago, we had 227. This past season, we had 220. So although being down, numbers are still strong. I think that's the 3rd or 4th year in a row with really good numbers. On the bright side, 57 girls in-house last year, which is ironically the same as the prior year of 57 girls. So we're looking to build those girls numbers. On the Cubs side, we had 94 Cubs last year. And the prior year we had 83. So in my Coon Rapids math, that's 11 more Cubs last year than the prior year. So that's a good thing. Last week, we started the summer academy. We have 103 kids in the summer academy for the spring session, which is pretty good. I think we ended last summer at 120 coming out of the fall session. So we always get more kids that sign up for the fall session only. So that number is going to do nothing but grow. So from an in-house perspective, the numbers are looking good. So all things are positive there. On a thank you note, I need to thank the coaches, managers, everybody that was involved with in-house last year. Without them, this wouldn't happen. So I can't do it all by myself, and I know that, and I'm genuinely appreciative for the coaches, the managers, and everybody involved. So, and then a special thank you, Nick Jacoby, who did a lot of the in-house, or a lot of it, did all of it with the help of Kathy, did our in-house scheduling as far as whose teams are skating when. And then Nikki Berry, who was kind of our coordinator on the U8 side, they did a tremendous amount of work. So big thank you to them.
For sure.
And that's all I have for today.
All right.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Jen, what are we doing to communicate like the program to new families? And, you know, like my family, for example, we weren't a hockey family, so we didn't even know what age we could start hockey. So we found out from some neighbors. Like, are we communicating that in schools, or how do new families know?
Our main communication goes through the schools, whether that's flyers that go homes with the kids or is intended to, or we try and hit every open house with a booth to let families know hockey, what programs are out there, describe our Cubs program, our in-house program, and then we also have a presence at the, what's it called? Parade. Thank you. So those are outside of the website and putting information on the website. Those are our 3 or 4 things we do to reach out and get people involved.
Excellent. Thank you.
And if suggestions, we're open to it.
Yeah, I think you hit some of the daycare centers last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Quite a few, right?
I mean, we've thought about handing out flyers to the ice cream truck or whatever that drives around. But thought that might be a little.
He makes his rounds.
Jed was gonna go to the hospital and actually be at birth and make them. Hey, congratulations, here, play hockey.
Here's a plain new hockey stocking cap.
Might be a good idea not to use your black van with no windows next time.
We're always learning.
Yeah.
It's all good feedback.
I think word of mouth is gonna be our biggest advocate by far, so spread the word, right? Neighbors, family, whatever. Any questions for Jed? Any other questions? All right, moving on. Next up is Jason Kokuris, boys traveling director.
Well, quick thank you to all the coordinators, coaches, managers, parents and players. And really wouldn't have a job if we didn't have any of those people. So really appreciate all the work and making the job as easy as it can be. So appreciate that. We had 17 teams total for the boys side this last year. We had 3 playoff district champions. We had 4 out of our 5 possible go to regions, and 1 of those went to state and took 4th place. Looking at the overall record, so district play, not in playoffs, our overall record for the 17 teams total, we had 225 wins, 68 losses, and 29 ties. So definitely moving in the right direction. Our average ranking in the district for the regular season was just above 2nd place in the district. So we're doing pretty well. We're moving in the right direction for sure. So yeah, looking good.
Sure. Regular season results have been better than I've seen since I've been around. So it's a good trend. Things to look forward to. Any questions for Jason? Thank you, Jason. Next up is Neil Verholz, girls traveling.
I didn't think
director.
I'd be the longest, but it's looking that way.
Huh?
I said, I didn't think I'd take the longest, but it's
He's got
looking
like
that way.
4 pages on
Yeah.
here.
Summarize.
Yeah, summarized. No, don't want to sound like a broken record, but again, thanks again to all the players, parents, volunteers, coaches, managers. I mean, like you said, we couldn't do it without you. A little bit about the girls program. We were fortunate enough to have 4 of the 5 teams this season coached by non-parent female coaches. So continue to move in that direction. We need to continue to develop the coaches as well as the players. So we know there's some opportunities, right, to help them become better coaches as well. But it's great to have them in the program, and I think the girls all appreciate it. So recap. So we had 70 traveling girls over 5 teams. Just a kind of a quick notes on a few teams. The 15A team and 15B were both co-opted with Champlain Park Coon Rapids this year. The 15A was we ran that program, so they were second place in D10, the league, second place in the D10 playoffs, and made it to regions. And they ran into a hot team there, so they didn't quite make it to state, but they had a really good year. 15Bs, same thing. We had a few girls that went over there. They were second place in D10 league and second place in D10 playoffs. So they also made it to regions and ran into a tough region up north, as a lot of those teams don't have 15A teams. So 12A was 6th in D10, 4th out of D10 teams, as there was a couple of teams that came in and played in our district. They actually finished 3rd in the playoffs and were able to make it to regions. So that was a good accomplishment for them. 12B was 7th place. 10A was 6th place in D10, 4th out of D10 teams. And then 10B were 5th place in D10, and they were the consolation champion in the D10 playoffs. So those that don't know girls hockey, that 10B, 12B level are very tough. As with different than boys, the 12B is a lot of programs' top team. So you're going to see a line or 2 of each team that they play that might be their top girls in their program. So, and then just quick outlook moving forward. So girls numbers are continuing to grow. Next year, potential traveling girls, if the 9th graders stay, there's 87 girls, probably 7 teams, 2 15s, 2 12s, and 3 10s. So the numbers are going. It's exciting to see, especially to get the 15s kind of back just to Blaine girls as well. And I know he talked about in-house and Cubs. So looking at those numbers, there's 70 returning girls in that program. So that's not including the girls that are going to be going to traveling next year. Plus, again, any new girls that join the program. Continue to need goalies. And we just need to continue to recruit girls into the program. Like I said, it's going in the right direction. We just need to continue to keep the ball going. So just a note to the training partners. Thank you to all the training partners for all the work with the girls program this year. I know Rick mentioned them all. And like I'll say, I'm just excited about the future of the girls program. It's nice to kind of be on our own now and moving in the right direction.
That wasn't so bad.
Okay.
Any questions for Neil, girls programs? All right, thank you, Neil. Next up, we have
Me.
Lindsay Axelrod, secretary.
Yep. So like everybody else said, thanks to all of our players and families and coordinators and managers and coaches that made this season successful. We had 191 unique parent volunteers this year, which is up 18 over last year. And we had 169 of those actually put in the time to receive their volunteer refund, which is up 8 over last year. So that's good to see. And I want to thank Christy for her partnership this season. She's not going to come back as the volunteer coordinator, so the tough one. I'll miss you. Concussion training was a success this year. It happened later than normal due to just scheduling issues with TRIA, because they only have one person that does it, and they do it for all of the Twin Cities, and it was a little bit of a mess, but we got that done. Fundraising was a success this year. We sold $12,664 in sales, which resulted in $3,356 back to our families. A little bit lower than last year, but it was still good. And we also had some team options that Cami put together, which was pretty cool. We saw a bunch of teams, specifically the 10UB girls, that raised $4,500 with our matching grant to Hockey Fights Cancer. So thank you to Cami for that, because it was pretty cool to see the kids take advantage of that, or the teams take advantage of that. Bengal Aces was another win. We had some of the highest participation we've ever had at the Bolero party. So thank you to Shannon. Nice job. And finally, apparel was also a big success this season. We had the largest volume ever with $59,929 in sales, which resulted in $7,830 back to BYHA. So thank you, Jody Dalk, for all your hard work. This was her last year, so Allie Asling will be taking over for the next season. That's it.
Okay. Any questions for Lindsay? Thank you, Lindsay. Next up is Ron, who is traveling today. He had to travel for work. I think he may be on. Are you on, Ron?
I am on here, but I don't have a lot of stuff with me here, so if you're able to give the bullet points I gave, that'd be great.
Yeah, and bullet points, that was for the monthly meeting though, was it not?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll cover that in the monthly meeting part, but sorry about that. I think just some high level financial stuff that I just gathered here quickly. So Blaine Youth Hockey was able to raise $1.2 million, and that includes the 1.1. So we were able to raise another 100,000 and change. Registration income this year was 597,000. And our total expenditures to operate hockey came to 1.3 million. So you can imagine the numbers are pretty big. All right. And that does leave some, after the contribution gets applied to hockey operations, that does leave some cash left over for future needs, such as ice allocation. That's the big one. Super Rinks remodeling and renewing our contract. And that's going to be in the tune of $1.1 million. We need to throw at that just to buy another 20 years of ice here on or the front rink. I think we got one full rink up front or something like that. Yeah. So anyway.
Well, in the 7 in the back and.
Yeah, that's not renewing yet, but.
2 is shared with Franklin Park though.
Yeah, correct. Yep. So, having ice rights costs a lot of money, and that's where we need to allocate funds for that. And that's where those numbers go. The money that Suzanne generates for us is restricted money, has to go directly towards community contributions to other 501Cs or hockey operations for Blaine Youth Hockey. So it's called restricted funds. We make sure we spend all those funds properly, including giving some to the other sports organizations in our community. And overall, gambling, like Suzanne said, had a stellar year, and our capital improvement funding is strong. Blaine Youth Hockey is looking very good for the future as far as financials go. And there's a lot of questions around how this money gets juggled and how it's raised and how it's spent. And we did agree to work on a webpage to explain that to the membership, because there's plenty of folks that know quite a bit about it, are very appreciative, and there's other folks that don't know much about it, wonder why we just don't give away free hockey. So there's a lot of good reasons for all that, and we gotta get that up so people better understand that stuff. Anything am I missing, Ron, for a year ink recap?
No, I think you covered it really well.
Okay, thank you.
I like this traveling thing and letting you do my work. That's kind of handy.
By the way, you suck. Anyway, any questions around Treasury or Ron or myself in that regard? Okay, thank you, Ron. And next up, our Vice President.
Well, thank you all for showing up here in person. It is appreciated. Also a big thank you, like the others said, to our membership, players, coaches, volunteers, coordinators, ice scheduler, gambling, Nancy, who does her job and is relentless. Without all these people, the success that we have on the ice doesn't happen. So thank you very much. Also, thank you to all the board members. I appreciate everything over the last 3 years, the help you've given me, the dedication, the support. I hope to be back for 3. If I'm not, I'm always willing to chip in and help wherever I can. Man, talk about our program going in the right direction, right? You look at our tradition and we're back where we need to be, which is exciting, but it's not, we can't take our foot off the gas. It's time to stomp on it, right? And I think we got the right people in the right positions, but my challenge to the membership, to the board is the more people we can get involved in the program, the better off our kids are going to be and the better off our programs are going to be. So if you have folks that are sitting there complaining behind the scenes about everything, I challenge you to have them get involved. Have them call one of us. If they have an idea, we maybe don't have the time to do it, but put a committee together and let's make it run, right? I think if we can do those things, we're going to keep going up. And that's what I think we all want to see, right? As far as the year went, I think we had very minor things that happened in the association. Right now, we're working on the year-end coaches meetings and then getting our coaches in line for next year so we can start planning there. Tournament planning will start beginning here in the next month. Like Jed said, the academy is off and running. Those numbers look strong. Big congrats to some Blaine alumni. On the women's side, we had Ramsey Parent and Gabby Rosenthal, who unfortunately took a runner-up spot in the Frozen Four. Also, our own Bryce Brazinski, they fell a little bit short, but still exciting to see those alumni have continued success. That's about all I have. Like I said, I just challenge anyone who's got good ideas to come forward and help us out. Like I said, the more people we get involved, the better off we will be. But thank you all. I appreciate it.
All right. Any questions for Brad? Thank you, Brad. All set. Next up is myself. Busy year. I think Brad covered a lot of the things we're thankful for. I'd like to thank the board as well. It's a thankless job and a lot of hours. I mean, if you don't have 500 hours available, you might as well not even run, because it's a lot of work, a lot of hours to get all the task work done, manage the various issues that come up, budgets, you name it. Coordinators too. We had 40 coordinators this year. Some of them held more than one position, so it might be slightly less as far as people go, but 40 coordinators that helped out to make this program work, right? And a big thanks to you, and there's a number of you in the crowd that did a great job for us this year. ICE is a big one. Registration's a big one. Those guys put a lot of hours into that stuff. I don't know if you ever added it up, Kathy, but
I lost track.
yeah, it's a lot.
Right, don't want it.
Don't want to know.
Yep, we put in 500 to 1,000. They're probably north of 1,000, right? They got a lot of compliance. Scheduling's a pain in the butt, especially when you get snowstorms coming through. So, yeah, thank you very much for the time and the
No,
commitment.
during hockey season.
Yeah. Right.
I'll get my
Gambling,
number for
we already touched on that, but this doesn't happen without gambling either, at least for the prices that we charge. So huge thanks to those guys. Rink partners, I mean, we got probably the largest amount of ice out of any association I've ever heard of. And that's not just the state. I mean, that's anywhere. We got 5 rinks and 5 sheets of ice, and we got a lot of hours on each sheet. And that people hear that and they're like, are you kidding me? So we got to be thankful for that too. And we got to keep building the future of the program too by keeping those allocations. And then the various families and volunteers, like Lindsay said, we had a lot of people get their volunteer feedback. Yet we're struggling to try to find more help, right? So we have to have some discussions on how we get people to help more when we need it, especially with the tournaments that we held this year. Yeah, and a special thanks to them guys too. So Blaine Youth Hockey finally hosted 2 tournaments, a boys and a girls, one in December, one in February, and they were a big success and a ton of work for, I know, Chris and Shannon. They put in a lot of hours over those weekends, and thank you very much for that. Well done as well. We got a lot of great compliments, and we always have the one team that's not happy. So 1 out of however many we had, 32, that's not bad. So, good job. Let's see here. Culture. Brad touched on it. I think the culture is definitely heading in the right direction. I think kids are understanding the importance of it more. We're getting some high school kids to show up without really making them come here, right? So the more we build on that culture, the better it's going to be. I mean, everybody sometimes the perception is, why aren't we training the kids better? I mean, the real question is, why don't the kids love hockey more? Because you can't force it down their throat. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a drag. It's not supposed to be something that you're made to do. So the goal is to love hockey. Kids that love hockey develop. They develop at home. They become big successes on the team, right? They become skilled because they love it, not because they have 40 hours a week of training. They build skill from the love. So our goal, in my opinion, is to facilitate the love for the sport. I think we're doing, that's heading in the right direction. Then our high school partnerships, new coach this year, appreciate the time and the effort to build that partnership between our programs. Girls are going to get a new head coach this year, so we hope to get a fresh start with that crew too. I know the boosters did a nice job this past year trying to get Blue Line buddies and doing more things, just more things than we have in recent history. So we got to build on that, do more of that. Get these kids again to look forward to something. Build some mentors up at the high school levels. Back to the volunteers, just some fun facts. Managers, we had 45 managers managing teams this year. We had 141 coaches coaching teams this year. That's a large number of people. So if you run a business, that puts you in the medium-sized business category, right? That's no longer a small business. That's a lot of people. So that's what the job of this board is too, is try to herd those cats, keep those people being productive. Quick numbers across the programs. Girls had 66, boys had 236. In-house, Jed mentioned, 220, 94 in Cubs. Total of 616 active players at season end. That's a lot of players, and we hope to build on that. You know, our goal should be to increase that every year by percentage. I think that's about all I had to share. Again, let's do what we can to get the word out in the community and build this program bigger and bigger, right? Word of mouth is the key. Any questions for me? Okay, let's move on. Election results. So we had 4 candidates, Brad and Christy Resop and Rick Japor and Lindsay Axelrod. 3 of the 4 are incumbents. And thank you very much, Christy, for throwing your name or your hat in the ring here. Brad's nominee was Jed Rolfe, and Japor's nominee was Mike Japor. He's here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yell if you want to dispute the nomination. Lindsay Axelrod had Chris Foley, and Christy Resop had Lindsay Axelrod.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, Lindsay was support of that idea too. So very good. And the results, I'll throw them up on the screen, are that. So it looks like the incumbents are coming back, and Christy got a lot of votes though. So nice job. And we're gonna keep you hooked, right? Get you help somehow, some way. All right. We'll have to do some convincing then. Well, those are the results. So congratulations to the winners. I don't know if we got any questions around that. One thing to note is ever since we had COVID, we went to this online voting thing, and it's worked out pretty good. We've got 218 voters to step up and vote. So we used to get 40, 45 maybe on a good year at the in-person one. The year after, well, what was it? The last year, I think we only had like 20 people show up or 30 people, and it was pretty dismal. So talked to Andover, they had the same problem. They didn't even have enough votes to consider it a formal election. So I had to get on the phone and call people to their annual meeting to come up and vote. So although this isn't as personable as it used to be, it seems like we can't get the attendance to do it any other way anymore. But we'd still like to fill this room as best we can to hold these annual meetings at the very least, and maybe get a few more at the monthly meetings too. So that's that. Any questions around the election? Okay. Very good. Next up we got are the high school programs. We got Trevor here and come up to the podium if you like.
Be the only one that has to stand.
Yeah, or you can set, you can set
Or
him up.
send them. Huddy wants to give a speech.
It does, yeah, is it on?
Hello?
There's a button on the side there.
Oh, I think you guys can hear me. For those of you that I haven't had the chance to meet yet, I'm Trevor Frischman, the head coach for the Blaine High School boys. And we're just here tonight to show our support, and thanks. The association helps us, immensely. And there's a lot of things that we're able to do because of it, especially as coaches. Things that we are able to buy and just a lot of different things that we're able to do because of their support. And we like to give back in any way that we can. And that's something that I look forward to, and definitely something that I think can be improved upon as well. I have Hudson Bethel, Grant Nadolny, Ben Lyons, Logan Meister here. And like I said, we're just here to say thanks and to show our continued support. And that's really all I had. Season recap, I guess it says, wasn't great for us. We had one player on our team that was a returning varsity player, so we were pretty inexperienced at a varsity level. But I think we definitely improved and played some of our best hockey at the end of the year. And we're looking forward to big things going into next year. So definitely a lot to improve on. And like I said, there's definitely things that I'd like to work on and improve upon with our relationship with the association. I think it's essential for any program or any community to have the high school, have a good relationship with the youth. And I think these guys, even though they're busy schedules, I think we can do more and maybe attend more practices and do things like that, which hopefully in return, kids are excited to come to our games and families are excited to come to our games. And it makes a big difference when Fogarty's packed and kids are excited. So hopefully that's something that we can strive for. You guys got anything to add?
I know the statistics weren't all that great, but I heard it was one of the best locker rooms.
Yeah,
I heard it through the grapevine. That's one of the best locker rooms this year.
it was a great group of kids. We had 11 seniors and they all were great and they had great attitudes, even though some of them had to play JV at times, which isn't easy as a senior. But I think all these guys as well, Grant and Ben are going to be senior, Logan as well, senior. Hudson will be a junior. So I think that, yeah, I mean, it was a great team, and I think next year should be similar, just based off of the type of guys we have coming back.
Good.
I will say, some of the players that helped out were student coaches was amazing. I know Huddy and Swanee they were at the Bantam AA practices a lot, and I just love them running down the ice after the tournament win and some of that stuff, you know what I mean, from the stands. So I appreciate all the boys that helped out on teams, and it went a long way for the younger kids.
A second bet, Traveler and George, Bantam A's.
Yeah, I think,
I failed to mention also Luke Van Ash here. Why don't you come up, Luke? One of my assistants is here in the front also, Luke. So.
for sure, yeah, and Luke helps out on both sides quite a bit. So he's a great volunteer for both programs.
Definitely.
Yeah, the teams did great for the tournaments. They helped us. And a lot of them were playing music, and it was awesome to get them involved, and the atmosphere they created. Like the girls team, the boys team was like kind of competing, who could play the best music and create the better experience. So.
Hudson won.
I thought it was cool. They'd ask the penalty guy what his favorite song was, right? You get a penalty, you get the favorite song.
Yeah.
That was fun. All right. Well, yeah, thanks a lot for what you guys do for the program.
Thank you.
We look forward to building that partnership, right?
Sure.
To do more next year.
That's right.
All right, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks for
gentlemen.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we have the girls, somebody here from the girls to talk. All right.
All right, well, hi, I'm Grace. I'm Grace Chapman.
I'm Grayson Knowles.
And I think we should start off by saying thank you for everybody for being here, because everybody else said thank you so far, so I guess add it on top. Start off with the seasons.
Yeah, first I would like to talk about the success of our season this year. Varsity record ended with 13 wins, 13 losses and 1 tie, with most of our losses having only a 1-goal difference. That ended up getting us the number 2 seed in sections, and we made it all the way to the semifinals with one of our quarterfinal games going into 6 overtimes. And then
Record, right?
Yeah,
That is a
I
record.
think so.
Yeah.
With one of our girls scoring her first varsity goal, which leads me to that we had 8 players this year that had their first varsity goals, as well as a goalie that reached 3,000 shots faced and saved, which is the most saves in the game, and has the most all-time wins for our program. We also had 2 academic all-state, 4 all-conference, and 1 all-conference mention. We had also 1 all-state performer, and we had a top 5 goalie finalist of the year.
All right, well, I can get into our youth night stuff. So we had a pretty good attendance for this year's youth night. I know we had like little goodie bags that we gave away, and we had like raffle stuff, so that's always fun. We didn't have any entries though for our like ice time pizza party winning thing, and I know Sarah and we're proposing to do like a season kickoff with our youth program before the season starts, which I think she can go more into detail. For our youth support this year, we had I think a couple of our girls come out to a couple of the youth practices. I know I was able to attend a couple of those. Those were really fun to get to know some of the younger girls and their coaches. I know we had at least 2 to 3 girls help with tryouts and pre-skates before the season started. We had our Blue Line Buddies this year, I love doing Blue Line Buddies, so they're always so fun. And those photos get taken and posted on the Facebook account. And then I know we had, like somebody said, we had assisted with hosted tournaments this year, and battling for who had the better music at 7 a.m. in the morning. And it was really fun, by the way. And then we had our skate to Bengals this year. I know it was the first year we brought that back since COVID, I think, right?
Mhm.
And it was really cool to be part of that. I know for me at least, and hopefully next year we're able to get, more girls there and a bigger turnout. And then this year we were actually able to invite more 7th and 8th graders to come participate for our summer training program. And we're, willing to invite more people to come out, hopefully to get to know some of our younger girls that are coming up in the next couple years. And I know coming up in this next year, we want to be able to come out more to more practices and do more pre-skate stuff and be able to have like some of our girls come out to more games for each level and more practices, and because that stuff's really fun to get to know everybody and the coaches even and be a part of that environment.
One last thing we'd like to talk about is this year we made quite a few improvements to our equipment, which with those being breezers, all the new girls this year or the girls that needed a new size of breezers were able to get new breezers, and they had our Bengal logo on them and everything. Everyone was able to get brand new helmets this year, which was really nice. And then we were also all able to get new home jerseys. And then one last thing was we were able to get more filming equipment, which was an iPad and some tripods, so it was easy to record the games.
Very good. Got a wrap?
Yeah.
All right.
That's right.
I think
Thank you
just
for that.
to jump onto that, I think it's gonna be really important, and what we're really looking forward to is trying to find partnership with whoever you guys either identify as, your high school coordinators. We had reached out to a number of coaches on the girls' side over the season and didn't get any responses back, when we were offering to send girls to practices. And I think that was because I'm sending the email and they have no idea who I am. So whatever assistance we can get from you guys to kind of help engage with that. And then also, regarding the pizza party, like the girls mentioned, since we didn't have anyone win that for our youth night, what I would like to do is work with whoever on the board is helping kind of lead that this year or this upcoming season. And we are wanting to know if we can use those funds to kind of do a season kickoff for your girls program before they go into some of their pre-skates or go into their tryouts. And we would just invite some of those girls to come and skate with the high school team for about an hour. And then have a pizza party or desserts or something with them, just to help kind of build the momentum and the excitement around the start of their season. And then all of your 7th and 8th and the incoming 9th graders who were hoping to take meals, so no, you can't keep them, will be invited to participate in our STP this year. So those emails will be going out in the next week or so. We just had to finalize kind of our registration pricing, and then I do copy Neil on those emails so that he's kind of aware in the event that someone reaches out to him as the girls director.
Very good. A lot of opportunity, right? Try to do more each year.
Always looking for more.
Good, good.
Good. Will you put me and Neil on any communication coming from you guys?
Okay.
Well, we need to do better. I'm sorry that happened. It's frustrating because
I think knowing that you guys have some of your pre-skates and stuff scheduled already, the sooner we get that, the better, because we can work around that from our captain's practices. We can work, it's easy. The earlier we get it, the better, because we can make sure we have the girls there.
Yep.
And then also, right, like if we're doing pre-skates, our girls really want to come to practices. They really enjoy that. They want to go to the games. It's just, we don't necessarily get a lot of the buy-in that we're looking for. Youth night is really, really successful on the boys' side, but we don't have, and I know this year there was practices that were scheduled during that time on the girls program specifically. So we didn't get girls to our youth night game because they were out of practice.
Yeah.
So whatever we can even do from an ice scheduling perspective to help kind of drive and build some of that opportunity would be appreciated.
yeah, we'd rather plan now than plan in September because we're busy in September and then you guys get bottled up in October and then we're
Yeah.
off to the races. So
Exactly.
yeah, we agree. I think the more we can get done this summer, the better off we'll be.
Yep.
So I appreciate that.
Your youth night, if you let me know right away, I can block it off for any games or practice.
We had a couple tournaments last
Know
year.
what that'll be, but we have to wait for our
Right.
coach. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was a Friday night, we had some tournaments, so that's what happened. So we might not see it, maybe Friday might not be the best day, maybe if there's a Tuesday game. Cause the tournaments, we can't, right, if they're gone, so.
Yeah, which I understand.
Yeah,
It's,
that's right. I know.
You know, some of this stuff, since we are getting a new coaching staff in, we may have more opportunity to kind of move some of those on our side. So,
I think it'd be great to even schedule some time on the monthly meeting agenda to cover some of this stuff too, to make
Yeah.
sure everything's on
yeah,
track.
I'm more than happy to do it if you guys are interested.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
have members of our booster board.
Yes, we are interested.
The room's
Yes.
pretty empty.
Just because we're on this topic, the skate with the Bengals nights, with the high school players, is that something that the high school had set up, or is that something that you guys have set up in the past? Like the date that it's going to be and stuff like that? You know?
High school. It's their ice actually.
Yeah.
Cause I'll talk with the girls coach as well, but I'm gonna suggest doing it separate. It probably would benefit the girls also, but I think it'd be nice for us to do it like after a 3 o'clock Saturday game, like right after the game. type of thing. I think kids would enjoy that. I think our guys, our mind is coming out with half their gear on and jerseys, or whatever, so.
Yeah.
Just to try, but I'll work on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of our goals is help bridge the communication and just be better partners on both sides. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely help with planning that, but high school normally picks the day and reserves the ice and that we work together to put it all together. Sure. Good. All right. Thanks for coming up, gals.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ooh, we caught yourself there.
Yeah. All right, next on the agenda is Chuck Taylor with the Junior Gold Program. Hey, Chuck.
Hey,
Come on up.
it'd be hard to follow those gals where they have your stats down.
Yeah.
So Chuck Taylor used to be one of these guys. Then I held my hand up for junior gold at one point. I've been doing it ever since. So for those of you that don't know what junior gold is, you get to traveling hockey. Normally you went to high school. If you didn't go to high school, you went out and got a job. Well, this 16, 17, 18-year-old that are not playing high school have the option of playing junior gold. So what junior gold is a competitive league, 4 refs on the ice, 17 teams in the Metro, or 70 approximately teams in the Metro League. So that is, you get into 300-400 players plus. It was a great year. Ice Dogs have been around for 10, 11, almost 12 years now. And this year, very happy to say our A team made it back all the way up through state. So it's a very high level of play, 16U. Bs, which are not B in-house. This is very competitive B and A. So it's 18U A League, 18U B League, just again, because of numbers. So we had the A team make it all the way through the season, made playoffs, made it to state, and first couple of games were tough, very good games. Ended up going down the backside and took 6th place. But it was all the way through. It was a point, one way or the other. So I felt great. Coaches felt great. Players felt great. There was no blowouts there. We just opened up summer ice. So FYI, might be hitting you guys up just to get a little blast out to the kids that are moving on. And what summer ice is for us, it's not quite STP. It's literally pond hockey. So we do about 15, 20 minutes of, hey, here's a couple little drills to, go out on the ice with. Sticks in the middle, goalies rotate around, and people go skate. So we try to do something that's fun. Kind of the last part of this too is when you take a look at Ice Dogs, years ago, Blaine tried putting teams together on its own, and it just weren't enough kids. It would ebb and flow. So what we've done is we work with Andover, Blaine, Coon Rapids, Anoka, Cambridge, Isanti, that whole group. So this year we fielded 2 teams. We were hoping for 3, but Cambridge tried putting something together on their own. It failed, fell apart. I don't know if they're going to do that again. I'll be reaching out, but on the norm, we're running about 70 players, 3 teams, and again, very high quality. So hopefully, we're going to be in touch with you guys just for that whole synergy. Manny's really on board with us, and he actually brings a couple of players back in, so they use us for minors. It works out pretty well. I think Timmy's been chatting with you a little bit on that stuff. So, we hope to keep this program going. Everybody's pretty well committed. Tom's been around for a while, coach. Actually, 50% of our coaches now are returning Ice Dogs. So we're very, very proud of that. It means we're doing something right. These guys are coming back in and they're coaching now. It's crazy.
Good.
So the last word is we will be looking for a set of coaches this coming season. So the whole Cambridge pulling out, not having a 3rd team, we have no coaches. So we're going to be exploring for a set of coaches to go up the 18, probably grab the 18B team. So we'll let Tom and them coach that lower level, the 16s, and we'll try to find 18As. I think we have returners coming in on that, 18Bs. We'll probably be looking for a set of coaches on that.
Under, not lower.
No, they're just younger.
Younger.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Younger, lower in age. It's lower than 7. Anyhow, we're very happy. It was a really good year. Does anybody have any questions on junior gold, what it is, why we have it? If not, that's really, I think that's about what I have.
Good.
So
Congratulations.
it was a good
on
year.
That
It was a good year.
Yeah.
Congrats, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Next up on the agenda is coordinators, coach, training partners. Anybody else wanted to say something here tonight? No, all good?
Just wanted to tell Michael, we just got rocked it at our tournaments for the championship game. He had light shows going, smoke shows, music was blaring. I mean, the boys, we had Blaine versus Blaine in the sport tournament, which was, fun. The place was packed and we had a good competitive, PWC, game as well with the White Bear beating a team from Arizona. So me and Michael killed it. And I think, that part of it was we wanted to bring an experience that the kids just didn't have every day, right? So being able to add that, I think, the kids enjoyed it because it was something different versus just showing up and playing hockey. So, you had 40 yourself rocking. So thank you.
Yeah, well done. Mike also does a nice job helping with the parade and other various things, so appreciate all the help we get from you. Yeah, and rumor has it, maybe looking for new announcers for the high school games too. I don't know. I heard something about that, so.
Say you want a job at high school?
Yeah, yeah.
We had some telling the other, every other week with the school districts.
Well, I hope you don't got a contract.
I'm just giving them the visa stuff anyway.
Yeah, get back home.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to recap real quick on that, boys. Thank you so much for that compliment. But actually, the biggest compliment of that day was there a Hudson or a Hastings team that day. Anyways, they were about to get on the ice. And they're like, "This is bigger than a wild game right now." But they didn't know who I was. I just happened to overhear it. That was the whole thing him and I were talking about. Was that anyone can put on a tournament? How do you get them excited? Just like how you were talking about, how do you get them a love?
Yep.
So, just being able to contribute that little bit.
Yep. Same talks. Yeah. Heard some of the same talks going on with the high school group, so. Yeah, might have an offer for you. All right, good. Nobody's got anything else. I think.
Like the whole volunteering thing.
Sure.
Like how to get people maybe to be a little bit more motivated. I felt like we did really awesome through tryouts and just like this was the first year that we added to tournaments. So I think the first tournament was successful because we had high school and then I think we have a lot, the second one that the Moose players came in.
Yeah.
But they're like, it was like there was no help at all by the time we got to that point in the season because the girls tournament was in February. And so I don't know if one idea would be to have like the families that are playing, like so if it's a 10U or whatever, like make families volunteer for at least one shift, maybe 2, just so that it's covered, or increase the volunteer fee. I feel like for some people, $250, they're just like, oh, I'd rather keep the $250 and not volunteer. Talk to a handful of other families that like Centennial might be going up to almost 1,000 for their volunteer fee. I think Maple Grove is at over 700. So just something to give people a little bit more of an incentive to actually like show up and volunteer and get their money back. I know when I talked to Lindsay before, she had said something about having kind of the whole ice just like up for grabs. I know it's hard when you don't know what team you're on, but to kind of have all of the dibs available rather than everybody rushing to get it done right away at the beginning of the season, not knowing what other dib sessions are going to be available to them. So I think for a lot of people, they were like, well, I'm done. I only needed 5 credits. And so then nobody showed up to help. And so that put a lot of pressure on other people to make sure that those were filled. So I think that was like the biggest stressor of trying to get that all taken care of and the pieces together towards the end of the season because nobody wanted to do it because they were already done.
Yeah.
So that's just a little tidbit from the volunteer end so that we get more people to volunteer and or have some kind of incentive for the people that have finished their 5 credit. I don't know. I don't know what a good answer is. I know, it was brought up that maybe we like add the A mites to start including some of the volunteering. Like I said, I don't know, but it's just something, if we're gonna keep hosting tournaments like that, we need to come up with some kind of a way to have people volunteer, not just at the beginning of the season, but throughout the whole season.
Well, if you only had 8 families or 8 people that didn't do their volunteer hours, you clearly have more.
No, it was 8 more families than last year.
Yeah.
We had lots of families
Okay.
that did not get anything.
Okay, oh, that didn't.
Yeah, there was 191 unique volunteers and only 168 did enough to get their money back. And then there was probably another 100 that didn't do any hours.
Got it, I got it. I'm like, are you not putting enough, spreading it out? Maybe people have to do 10, but I get it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, a combination of, I think, is what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Come up with something. Yeah, it's always a fine line of piss them off rather than incentivizing, right? So,
I think I asked one mom, because her kid skates for White Bear and they don't do dibs anymore, like they don't require that. I don't know if they don't pay a volunteer fee or whatever. Anyway, they have it for, which then it would be more money coming out of BYHA's pocket, but they basically like put the dibs online and they'll pay whoever wants to man the game so much, like $35 a game or whatever to
right.
do the iPad and all of that. And then that way, so it's more of an incentive for families to do it because they're making some money rather than like
Right.
choosing whether or not to get their volunteer fee back.
Yeah, and I talked to, at the president's meetings, I talked to all the presidents of all those associations and they struggle just like we do.
Right.
There's no magic answer to it. And, you know, if we're gonna start funding things like that, then we gotta take away the $800.
Well, right,
So
no,
it
exactly.
becomes just a perception game. So whatever they perceive to be the
Right.
best interest for them is what we need to find.
We just need to figure out a way to get people to be volunteering for at either end of the season tournaments, or we just, if we're gonna do 2 tournaments, do them at the beginning of the season right away when people are still like hungry to get their money back and are a little bit more motivated to volunteer.
Yep, opportunities for sure. Yeah, so we love the creative ideas. All right, yeah, we got work to do on that. Maybe you can at least help share those in detail and help out the next coordinator if you're not gonna do it. Very good, okay. Anything else? Any open forum? Okay, I think we're to adjournment. I need a motion to adjourn the
I'll make
meeting.
that motion.
I'll second.
Brad and Lindsay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 8:02. Pretty good.
Wow.
We are gonna roll right into the monthly board meeting. You guys, yeah, are free to go. Just a formality to get gambling motions approved. Thank you again for coming out. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
You get a mallet.
Bring more.
Yeah.
Adjourned.
No.
No.